Okay, so what nobody tells you about hair color? All the hair colors is brown. Rewind, start from the beginning. I'm gonna be very simple right now. We're not gonna go too deep into the science of hair. Hair itself is empty. Inside of the hair, we have those particles, pigments, colors. They are only 3 colors: yellow, red, and blue. In theory, every hair color, whether it's natural or not natural, has just these 3 and combination of those 3 colors. Some of these are more, some of these are less, but it's just these 3 colors. In the middle of the hair is normally mostly yellow, then it goes red particles, and then it goes blue particles. When we bleach our hair, we kill those particles. First color that goes away is blue because it's on the surface. Then I have red and yellow left. Then I keep the bleach a little bit more in my hair. Red goes away, so it kills red particles because they're closer to the middle of the hair, to the center. Red goes away, then we have yellow. And when yellow goes away, then we have this white platinum blonde that doesn't have any colors in there, and it's empty, and this is why it can break like that and just leave me forever. This is color theory, so you're probably familiar with that. I talked about this on my channel many times, and loads of people are talking about this, so it's not new. But I'm still gonna show you this, be like a reference for our eyes. So red, blue, and yellow, in our case, in the hair, is 3 primary colors. There are also secondary colors. Red mixed with blue gives us purple. Red mixed with yellow gives us orange. And then yellow with blue mixed together gives us green color. We will need this information a little bit later. Now, if we talk about hair colors, the only neutral color there is brown color. However, everybody is different and nature has so many color combinations. So you can hardly find somebody with absolutely same hair color. It will always be a little bit different. But in every hair color, in theory, we have certain amount of blue color, certain amount of red, and certain amount of yellow, and different combinations of those colors. Let's imagine these colors in cans of paint. We have several cans of blue paint, we have several cans of red paint, several cans of yellow paint. Now let's look at different hair colors and let's imagine how many of these cans, and these cans, this hair color could have. We come back to brown color a little bit later. Natural black hair. When a woman has natural black hair, normally it's very hard to find naturally black hair which has bluish shine. Probably only artificial hair dyes can give you that bluish black hair. Normally black hair, if you put them on the sun, they still shine a little bit reddish underneath. So black hair, I'm just gonna assume myself from the theory, from what I see and how I would color the hair of this girl if she wanted to go lighter, for example. So black hair like this, I would assume that inside of her hair she has some yellow, of course, as a base, and I think that she has a lot of yellow and it's very intense. So I put so many cans of yellow in her hair. Her hair is very dark, so it's very intense, so I can assume it has just a lot of pigment by itself. It just has tons of pigment. So there's a lot of yellow, it has a lot of red, and of course she has a lot of blue on top of all that. So if we mix very intense pigment of yellow, red, and a lot of blue, then we have this black hair color. Because if we remove one of those 3 colors, this hair won't be black anymore. It will be some other color, it will be muddy. If we remove blue color completely, it will look orange because it will still have red and yellow. So this hair will be orange. If we keep the blue and remove the red, it will be muddy green color. If we kill the red, we have just blue and we have just yellow. We mix them together, it's like muddy green color. If we remove just yellow, so we still have red and blue, we will have purplish hair color, very intense purplish hair color. But it's only in theory, because practically you can't remove one of those colors in her hair. It removes naturally one by one. First color that goes away is blue, of course, always the case, because blue is closest to the surface of the hair. then it goes red, remember? Then it goes yellow. So when we bleach her hair, blue color will always go first. You can't keep it there. We can't just remove one of those colors. They all go one by one. Next hair color, we have dark brown color. Dark brown, whether it's hair dye or whether it's natural hair color. This color has less blue. Basically, brown color considers to be the most neutral color because it has equal parts of each of these three colors. Equal part of red, equal part of yellow, and equal part of blue. Of course, you can manipulate the tone a little bit. You can make the brown hair look slightly cooler by adding some blue to it. You can make it look slightly warmer by adding some red to it or adding some yellow, or both red and yellow or orange, right? You can add some orange to it and it will be like more warm tone brown. But brown itself is the most neutral color. And what is neutral? From the Latin, the derivation of this word is neuter. Not this, not this. It can be neuter, gender. In some languages, there are words that have gender. For example, in Russian language, words have gender. The table is he. The apartment, for example, is she. So it has gender. But for some words, we don't have gender. For example, sun is it. It's not female, not male. It doesn't have any gender, so it's it. So neuter, gender. Neutral, neuter. Neuter gender, not this, not this. Not female, not male. Something in between. Something in the middle. You can't say this is this tone or this tone is just neutral. So every time we use this word in hair coloring techniques, we need to neutralize this unwanted tone, for example. This is what we mean. We put back one of three missing colors or two of three missing colors. This way we make it neutral, we neutralize it, we make it more brown. Brown can be super light. This is also brown. It's just very light brown, but it's still neutral. It's just very, very light. It has just very little amount of pigments, but they're still there and there's still three of them. This blonde is more or less neutral. We can make it more cool or more warm, but it's another subject. We can add some tones later to that, but this, it's neutral, so it's brown. Basically, it's brown. And any hair color, very dark, middle darkness, very light, they all can be neutral. They all can be brown on a brown scale. And if we put all the hair on a brown scale, they all will be neutral. That means that they all will have those three colors in equal amount. If you train your eyes to see how neutral these hair colors is, it will be so much easier for you to then predict what color is missing or what I want to add there, or how to counteract unwanted hair colors. We come to that later. Now we come back to dark brown hair color. It does have blue. Maybe you don't see it as blue, but if we remove any blue, all you need to do is just to put some bleach on this hair and in several minutes wash it away, and you will see how blue is gone. And this is how this hair is gonna look when the blue is gone. We're gonna have two remaining colors, yellow and red, and they too have orange color. So we have orange hair. So this is how you can see the difference. So this dark brown hair does contain blue. It still have a lot of pigments, so we have a lot of cans with this paint, a lot of them, because it's dark. The lighter we go, the less cans with the paint we have, because the hair becomes more and more empty. It just has less amount of those particles, but they still present in there, and there's still three of them. Then we have lighter brown hair, just regular brown. Again, it's neutral, unless it has some more of this or that tone to it. It can look slightly cooler if we add a little bit of blue, a little bit of ashy tones or a little bit of grayish tones to it. It can be more cool. If we add more red to that, it can be slightly reddish brown. If we add more yellow to it, it can be more golden brown. Now let's go to light brown color. Again, you can see it's very neutral. We have a little bit less amount of cans with paint, but there's still equal amount of them. Dark blonde. Many women have natural dark blonde color, which is very neutral. It's not golden and it's not reddish, and it's not very ashy and bluish. It's somewhere in between. Many girls in Russia, for example, they have this kind of hair color. I myself has dark blonde, maybe medium blonde. I have slightly ashy, but it's very neutral. It's not bluish, it's not very ashy, but again, it's not very warm as well. So when I bleach my hair naturally already doesn't have many particles of the pigment. My hair are emptier than a hair of a black-haired girl. So for me to bleach my hair, it just takes less time and maybe a bit less chemicals, right, to kill those particles, because I just don't have many of them. But in my case, it works same. First one packing the suitcases and leaves is blue color. If we take dark blonde neutral color and add some red and orange in there, we get strawberry blonde. But strawberry blonde is a very interesting color because it has a certain amount of yellow and red, and it has a little bit more red. Because if it had more yellow, it would be orange hair color, or like redheads. Redheads, they have this more yellow and red combination. In strawberry hair color, it's more to a red and pinkish side. So it has red and blue and just some yellow to warm it up a little bit. So it would not be very cool blue color, very cool pink color. So basically, yeah, that's a very interesting color. If we add a lot of gray or blue to this color, it will be very cool color. Cool, ashy gray color. Medium blonde. When we look at medium blonde, we already can see even less red, yellow, and even less blue. So if you put bleach in that kind of hair, yellow color is probably that color that we see almost immediately after we put bleach on her, because blue and red will disappear very fast, and then it will be yellow. Maybe it's a little bit stable, but this is what keeps the hair filled in with the pigment, so it's more healthy. So if we remove all that pigment, of course it will be more breaking, because the hair like an empty bottle, so it won't have that much yellow. So if we add some more red to this color, it will be like very red or orange bright hair color. If we add some blue to that color, that can look a little bit green, because it doesn't have enough red, because it has a lot of yellow. And if we add some blue there, yellow plus blue is green, right? So it can have some greenish tint to it. So it's important to add also a little bit of red in there, just to make this neutral hair color. But of course it will be slightly darker. Every time you're adding some pigments in there, it's gonna make it brighter and darker, darker, darker. This is why every time you have that bright yellow hair and you just wanna be ashy blonde, you try to counteract this yellow by red and blue, which is purple. This is why we have those purple shampoos, right? It's red and blue. We're adding those two missing colors into this yellow. Too much yellow, not enough red, not enough blue. This is why we have so bright yellow color. So we get purple shampoo, which is red plus blue. We add in that purple in there, and it slightly neutralizes, again this word, neutral, right? It's making your hair more brown. And this is why it's making it slightly darker, because you're adding pigments in there. You are just bringing more cans with that paint, which makes it automatically darker. This is why if you want to tone your hair after bleach, you always have to think one tone lighter, bleaching it slightly lighter to bring them darker to that wanted level again, because you're bringing those cans with paint back. If you look at light blonde hair, whether it's natural, so this girl has its natural and this girl has its bleached, in both cases it has a little bit of yellow color, no blue, almost no red, just a tiny bit of yellow color. So it just depends on what you want to do with it. If you want to make it brown, you have to add all three colors in there. You have to add some red in there too. And you have to add some blue in there too. And yellow too, because yellow is not enough in there. Otherwise you can end up with very weird muddy hair color, because it's already empty. So this is why when we go from blonde to dark, that is another very interesting technology. You put that yellow back in there, and then you put that red back in there, and then you put that blue back in there. This is why sometimes they pre-color the hair. They pre-color them whether orange or yellow, because yellow is in the center of the hair. So if the hair already almost transparent, it's almost not yellow anymore, it's almost white. So first you put yellow there, back there, yellow, yellow, yellow. So your hair is very yellow. On top of that yellow, you can already put some purplish, brown tones and stuff, so that will stick to it. And this is how you go darker. You can even go black from that blonde hair. But without putting color inside first, they just can't stick to anything, because the hair is empty, it's like a glass. Now we have platinum blonde. That platinum blonde almost doesn't have any yellow. Sometimes though, it does have some yellow in it. And what we do, we add some purple, but very little amount, so not to darken it too much, not to make it muddy. As far as this, just this amount of yellow, so this is how much of that blue and red we need to actually neutralize, again, this yellow and make it very light color. And when it's neutral, your eyes kind of can't recognize any color in there. And as far as it's so light, it becomes blank, it becomes white. Now, redheads. There are loads of people with natural red hair, which can be very dark red hair, close to brown, reddish brown, and very light too. But it's not true that they only have red and yellow in their hair. Of course, predominantly there's red. Of course, they have a lot of red color, much more than a neutral situation. Much more red, and of course, a lot of yellow. But they also have blue. In different areas, our hair can be more empty or less empty, thinner or thicker. Have you heard that expression, brassy hair? So, and why it's so unwanted? When you're bleaching somebody's hair, you're removing blue, but it's not removing uniformly, first of all. So some of the blue patches, they're still there, and it gives that muddiness to the hair. So hair still has a lot of red, still has a lot of yellow, but it has some blue, which gives them some patchiness and some dullness. So you kind of open your hair, but you didn't close them back. So, and this is why there's a big difference between this kind of hair and natural red heads, when they have a certain amount of yellow, much more red, a certain amount of red, and some blue color. That is just coating their hair on top, and it gives that very certain tint to the hair. There can be also warmer colors and cooler colors. For example, this is cool red. A lot of red, a lot of blue, not very much of yellow. And when we mix red and blue, we get purple. So it has some purplish sheen to it. It's not, just doesn't have enough yellow. So hairstylists, they learn how to play with these colors, and basically there are just 3 of these colors. But knowing that, you can actually mathematically count how much of this or that color you need. How would make this equalization. What we have yellow hair. She has yellow, 1 yellow can of paint. Now, what do we need to add there to neutralize it? We have 2 missing colors, right? Red and blue. So I'm taking 1 can of red color and 1 can of blue color. And red and blue together give me purple. And it's perfectly balanced, perfectly neutral. Slightly darker though, but it's okay. We knew it would happen, so we do it slightly darker. Now, this hair, kind of yellow, not quite red, but does it have some red in there? It does, a little bit. So I would say in this hair we have 2 yellows, 1 red. So how would we neutralize this one? 1 color is obviously missing, it's blue, right? We don't have any blue here, you don't see. So let's add 1 blue can, but we still have 2 yellows. So what will happen? 1 yellow is still gonna shine through. She still will feel she's yellowish. Blue will counteract the orange a little bit because it's the only one missing color. So it will neutralize this yellow plus red, but we have more intense yellow. So 1 more yellow can, we have it. It's gonna shine through after we finish our job. And then you say, okay, then if we don't have enough blue color, I'm gonna add 1 more can of blue color in there. So what we have 2 cans of yellow, 2 cans of blue, and just 1 can of red. Okay, 3 of them neutralize each other. What we're left with? We're left with 1 can of yellow, 1 can of blue. And yellow plus blue, it gives us green. So this hair will give us some green tint. So what would be ideal in our situation? We need to add 1 red can too. 1 red, 2 blues. How on earth we can get this hair color? First of all, any brand has their color correctors. Some they call them mixed tones. It's pure colors, like children paints, but as hair colors. Pure red, pure green, pure blue, pure purple, and so on and so on. Now we have to figure out this. So we need 1 red and 2 blues to neutralize this whole situation. How do we get 2 blues and 1 red? You take a little bit of blue corrector, color corrector. We have left with 2 cans of red and blue. If we mix them together, we get purple, right? So we mix blue and purple in there. And this purple will give us extra blue, but a little bit of red to fill in this gap, to fill in this red gap. You see what I mean? Just to neutralize this whole situation. And this is how you can make any hair color work for yourself. Just thinking in these cans of color. For example, if the girl got this muddy green color, she has all 3 colors in there. But why it's green? Green is blue and yellow. So what we see, for example, 2 blue cans and 2 yellow cans. Does she have some red? Maybe she doesn't, or she has just a little bit of red in there. So the red is missing, we have this gap. So we're adding some red mixed tone into her hair. We are adding some red color corrector to her hair. It's just a missing color in there. If you don't add enough, your hair might still be a little bit muddy, but you won't see that greenish anymore. If you add too much, your hair will be too red. So this is a certain technology of how much of this mixed tone they are adding. Now, any toner for the hair, a demi-permanent hair color, almost any toner contains all 3 colors, especially toners that are darker. Now, in hair color techniques, darkness and lightness is numbers. So the darkest is number 1, the lightness is in most cases 10 or 12. Let's go from 1 to 12. So 12 is the lightest. So if we get toners that are on a 12 levels, they have so little amount of pigments, they're almost transparent gels. Imagine transparent gel and somebody put a couple of drops of purple there or yellow there. So this is toners specifically for very light hair. So they're adding a little bit of those pigments in there. This is why those demi-permanent toners have their numbers and have their darkness too. The darker we go, the more all 3 colors are in there. So if we talk about level 8, it already has some color in it. 8 is approximately medium blonde. So if you look at this 8 neutral color, it has all 3 colors in there: yellow, red, and blue. So if you are super yellow, if you have super yellow roots on your hair, you have 3 yellow cans of paint in there. 3 yellow cans, very intense, very bright. And nothing else. You don't have any blue, you don't have any red. If you take just this natural 8N, it has all 3 equal parts of each 3. So you have to think about adding 1 more extra can of yellow. So blue and red slightly will add to that yellow. It will neutralize it, but it will bring some extra yellow to you. So that's why you will feel like you're still yellow. It will still be darker slightly because you're bringing some pigments in there. You're bringing some blue in there. You're bringing some red in there, so it darkens it a little bit. But it's still not enough. You feel like this yellow is just shining through. You don't like it. This is why sometimes what they do, they get this natural 8 color. Natural has all 3, and they are adding those color correctors in there just to bring more of those cans of blue paint and those cans of red paint. So if you're adding that purple mixed tone there, you're bringing some more cans of red, some more cans of blue, and this is enough soldiers to fight this intense yellow color. All right, that's it. Hope that was interesting. Let me know if you found something new. Some of you are always asking about my glasses. I'm gonna leave the link down below on the shop where I got them. And this one's is a green tint, 20%. So if you want something similar, the lightest tint would be 20% tint. And this is why I can wear them inside and outside, inside in the evening, and everybody can see my eyes still. If my videos are helpful to you, you can support me on Patreon, or you can just click join here and become my sponsor. It helps me to keep doing these videos. Thank you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.